Lasagna's Mansion is a freaking masterpiece. And listen, I like the sequels, alright? I'm not saying I don't. They're nice, they're cute, especially the one with the hotel. Some good stuff. But the first game, totally different animal. It's got this creepy, unique, off-kilter vibe going on. The biggest issue I've got with this game is that it's criminally short. But it was originally going to be an N64 game, so let's cut it some slack. The original Luigi's Mansion on the Nintendo GameCube, released in 2001, is a very special game to me. We could talk about the mansion, the atmosphere, all that spooky stuff. But at the heart of all that are these guys. The portrait ghosts. These are what make this game. Every single one of these freaks has got a whole situation going on. A whole backstory, personality, they each got their own room in the mansion that ties into how they lived and how they met their demise. It's beautiful. So here, in the spirit, I'm putting together a ranking of all 23 portrait ghosts in Luigi's Mansion, ranked worst to best. I don't think any of these are so terrible, but clearly some are better than others, so we're going from lamest to greatest. Let's go. After the mansion gets struck by lightning and the whole place goes dark, which should have been a hunt for something truly nasty lurking in only the deepest, darkest parts of this haunted house, instead we get Uncle Grimly. He's a total recluse, someone even the other ghosts don't want to be around. But the problem is there's all this build-up and he doesn't fucking do anything. Out of all the ghosts in this game, this one just feels super random and underwhelming. He doesn't put up any fight, there's no resistance, there's no special gimmick for you to figure out, he doesn't have any unique vocal sounds like all the other ghosts. I mean, he doesn't even get his own designated room to explore. He's just standing there in one of the earlier rooms from the game like some asshole doing absolutely nothing. I don't know, maybe that's the point. He's just such a milquetoast bastard that nobody wants him around. This guy sucks. Out of all the 23 portrait ghosts, I would say this is the one that just doesn't land at all. He's definitely the most unremarkable portrait ghost in the entire game. Luigi barges in like the little green pervert that he is and blasts the showering lady with ice water. You know, maybe this is why you have no fucking friends, Luigi. Because you do shit like this. There's a joke here about her being Miss Ghost runner-up for 6 years and now she more resembles a pig. That's pretty funny. But that's really all there is to this catch. Aside from the visual gag and that one splash of irony, there's not much depth here. Miss Petunia feels more like a one-off joke than a fully realized ghost. And in a mansion full of freak shows, that just doesn't cut it. Lydia is the second portrait ghost you capture, and while she's rocking that haunted house sitcom mom energy, her actual encounter is over before you know it. She's just sitting there staring at herself in the mirror, so what you gotta do is you open a window, let a little breeze in, which fucks her hair up or something, and now you go in for the stunt. And that's it. It's fine. She's not bad, she's just the most simple of the first three. There's no tricks, no traps, no projectiles like the father with the books. She's just very okay by comparison. And then there's Dad, who isn't all that much greater, but he gets the leg up for a couple of reasons. Credit where it's due, this is the first portrait ghost you capture in the game, and for that alone he's pretty memorable. The room sets the tone right away, being a creaky old library with books you can read to give you some insight into the mansion's secrets. But then those same books will turn around and fling themselves at you to try to stop you from sucking off the father. Nev Campbell's is a bookworm that has a lot of catching up to do. What do we have here?
What the hell are you supposed to be anyway?
That's not important right now.
No! What the hell is this little thing supposed to be? It doesn't look like anything!
Enough said. Sorry, Pooch. I wish I could have had you higher, but this game's got better ghosts with more bite. Spooky's design is nice. A ghost dog with glowing eyes and a growl. What's not to like? However, he's kind of a one-trick puppy. Once you lure him out with the skeleton bone, you wrestle him in a quick ghostly dog fight, and it's over. And that's just it, he's just a dog. I love dogs, but he's just a dog. No tragic backstory, no puzzle, just a backyard scuffle to get him out of your way. I mean, he's one of the few ghosts you actually feel bad about. He's a good boy, just not top tier. So Slim Shady over here is your local pool legend who never got the chance to play against a living person. So now he spends his entire afterlife playing with himself. It's a cool idea on paper, but as soon as you miss, and you will, now you're stuck watching this twink slowly lap the table like a snail on crutches. He's breaking balls. That's all this guy does, is break balls. Once you finally hit him enough, it's a standard vacuum job with barely enough personality besides, well, he likes to play pool. Congratulations, you want a fucking Twizzler? There's that film projector room next door, which felt like a missed opportunity to have a movie director ghost instead. Maybe that was the original idea, so that's why we have one in Luigi's Mansion 3 like 20 years on. Who the hell knows? Still, I'll give Slim this. He's one of the only ghosts who feels like he actually had a real dream. Good on you, Slim. This dancing couple might not be the most complex ghosts, but what they do bring is this very eerie, romantic atmosphere. The candlelit ballroom is one of the most beautifully haunting rooms in the entire mansion. Once you deal with all the little shy dudes, Luigi is not ready for how hard he's about to get served. Once they show up though, they pay you absolutely zero attention, so it's kind of up to Luigi to just be a third wheel. Triggering this fight can be a little confusing though. You gotta circle the rotating dance floor just to get them to show up. Once they're exposed mid-spin, it's a quick back and forth and you're Gucci. I do really like this one aesthetically, it kinda sticks with you. But as far as ghosts go, they're more vibes than substance. But sometimes vibes are just enough. Okay, hear me out before you piss yourself. I cannot be alone in thinking this. I don't think this is a bad boss fight. I just think compared to the other 4 main bosses, this is the weakest. The good is that the atmosphere is really cool. I like how the boss fight takes place on top of the roof of the mansion. Thematically, that makes the most sense. It's the highest point, there's a blaze of fire surrounding you, you're finally facing off against King Boo after taking down most of his little minion ghosts. It makes sense. And now you're ready for your final showdown. And then the boss fight itself, it's not bad. It's just like capturing all the other Boos, except for he's got a shit ton more health and there's more obstacles in the way. But here's where the game gets a little boo from me. I think with this boss fight, Nintendo played it way too safe. Luigi finally gets his own game, he finally gets to prove himself. This is his big shining moment and it just felt like they played it way too by the book. And did it have to be fucking Bowser again? I mean, I know technically it's not Bowser really, because it's just this Bowser mech suit that King Boo is piloting, but it feels like a cop-out, dude. Do we really need Mario's villain to be the centerpiece of Luigi's big moment? King Boo's got enough personality and presence on his own. They didn't need to shove him into a Bowser suit just to raise the stakes. It's a cool fight, yeah, but King Boo deserves his own paranormal throne, you know? I think the best part of this fight is the initial confrontation that happens before, where King Boo drags Luigi into the haunted painting before it all goes down. That's good stuff. Just compared to the other main boss fights, the other 3, considering it's the final boss, it just didn't leave as big an impression. At least not for me. Luigi decides to step into a gym for the first time in his entire life and instantly starts getting beat up by the resident jock. I actually enjoy this fight because it feels like a fight. This is actually one of the few ghosts you don't have to do, but why the hell wouldn't you? This game's already short enough. Just do everything. You can get the key just by walking on the treadmill, but you may as well take out Biff while you're at it. It's a nice break from some of the more passive ghost encounters and actually makes you feel like you're in a boxing match with some supernatural heavyweight. He's definitely one of the more physical ghosts. This Johnny Bravo-like ghost is big, brash, and not afraid to throw down.
Yes!
I know a lot of people would probably rank the mansion's butler way lower, but honestly, I think Shivers is hilarious. It's a little unclear what he's even doing. I mean, he just patrols the halls, specifically outside Melody's room, because I think he's got the hots for her. And to trigger this fight, all you gotta do is light his little candelabra thing. I mean, I don't even know what the problem is. Aren't you supposed to do that? So I think Shivers stands out for a couple of reasons. One, he's the only one you have to chase around a few rooms just to initiate the fight. And his private little room is littered with mice, but it does lead to some cool secrets, so look around for that. 2, he has a great classic spooky ghost design, but he's more funny than he is scary. And finally, he gets bonus points for having my personal favorite portrait in the game. If you get the gold frame, which isn't hard to do, this old man barely fights back, his candle lit in the picture will do a little flicker. That's pretty rad. That's it. Just wait for him to sit down and start having a pissy fit. Never underestimate this granny, she is tenacious. She's been knitting the same scarf since she died, and now it's almost 900 feet long. See, I can read. And there's only one picture. Her design and the fact that she sounds a little bit like Gruntilda the Witch scores her points in my book. She's your classic case of sweet old granny in a rocking chair that shoots darts from her face. Once you're done digging through all of her social security funds, you can engage in a little yarn battle with her and she's all yours. Nana gives some of the bigger, flashier ghosts a real run for their money in terms of a fight. She might look harmless, but she packs a surprisingly tough punch. What I like about this seemingly sweet old lady is she's actually one of the more hostile, aggressive ghosts. I actually kind of wish she was even more of a challenge than she is. That and I wish they called her Babushka. Don't ever mess with Babushka. Okay, something's definitely wrong with this picture. This is where the game starts getting a little sideways. Little Sue P always felt way creepier than I think the game intended. She's just a 7-year-old girl who took a nap one night and never woke up. That's it. There's no joke, really. Pretty fucked up. I say it's one of the most tragic ghosts in the game. The room starts off upside down, which, yeah, you know, it's a haunted house, but why? And it just adds to how off everything feels. Then she makes this whole promise about not wanting to wet the bed, so of course Luigi goes ahead and does it for her because he's a fucking dildo. This one comes off just so much more jarring than the rest. I don't even fully get what happened. What, she just took a short nap and died? I think that's what makes it worse. There's no explanation, so my brain just starts filling in the blanks. Why is she in the guest bedroom? Why is the room upside down? What's with all these damn clowns? I get why she's so cranky and pissed off, but why is she able to cause tremors in the house? Look, I'm probably overthinking it. It's probably not all that deep. It's Luigi's fucking mansion. But, I don't know, it just seems so harrowing to me. Especially because it's so late in the game. These two little rascals are the mansion's resident troublemakers. They definitely come off as the two snot-nosed brats that would probably TP your house on mischief night. It's a Jersey thing. After a couple of rounds of hide-and-seek, which you could totally cheat your ass off with, by the way, you get into one of the more hectic fights of the game, trying to catch one with a speeding car while the other's in a fucking bomber plane. Where do they get these toys, dude? This frantic tag team fight is definitely one of the more chaotic ones of the game. These aren't the most deepest characters in the mansion, but when it comes to bratty sibling prankster vibes, these two are top tier. Plus, I like how it makes you backtrack to the first area just to see what that initial locked room was all about. Out of every ghost in this game, this one definitely gives me the most chills. Think you're fucking funny? I didn't realize we're in the presence of a fucking comedian over here. Oh, shit. Aside from the final boss, Sir Weston is the only portrait ghost hanging out in the mansion's freezing basement. My dude likes the cold. Homie's just chilling down in the basement in his little frozen man cave, and Luigi's gotta come down and dick it up for him like he always does. Ice Climber Dude is definitely one of the coolest fights in the game. It's one of the most intense. He fires these icicle things at you, and they can freeze you solid if you're not careful, and slip and slide, slipperooski. Before you gain access to the roof of the mansion, you gotta throw down with the only trio of the game. The Clockwork Soldiers might look like leftover Happy Meal toys, but don't let that fool you. These guys mean business. This one sticks out because everything feels weirdly purposeful and locked in. Like these guys have been trapped up in the attic for years but never stopped doing their job. What I like the most here is the music boxes that you gotta set off before doing the fight. Then you gotta go ahead and juggle 3 of these dudes at once. There's definitely a right way to go about this. I just never seem to remember it when it actually matters. This is like one of those fights that you really can't relax at all. You gotta stay locked in the whole time or everything falls apart. Even if you mess up a little bit, it snowballs pretty quickly. If one of them slips out of your focus, suddenly you're getting jumped from all sides. And quite frankly, I don't have time for that. This gluttonous pile of monkey shit is one of the most intimidating ghosts in the whole game. He's not technically a boss fight, but he certainly feels like one. Nothing's getting in the way of this guy and his... What the hell is he eating? Cornmeal? Anyway, Mr. Lugs is a total unit. He refuses to let death get in the way of his dinner. I mean, he's literally haunting the dining room table, shoveling food into his mouth with reckless abandon. First you take out the 2 waiter ghosts, and then you walk up and you steal his lunch. It's the first regular portrait ghost that feels like a legit boss fight, at least like a mini-boss. Dude's got hella stamina for such a big boy. You gotta wait for him to tire himself out with all the fireballs he belches at you. Once he's winded, you just jump in, suck him up, and clean the dishes. It's the baby. The very first boss fight in Luigi's Mansion is a freaking baby. Now, this is one of the many reasons I think this game is so beloved. I don't know if they would have done something like this today. I mean, I know Chauncey's a little diaper-crapping asshole, but let's call a spade a spade. It's a dead baby. That's why I think this game stands out so much. I mean, I know it's a Nintendo game, but this is inherently upsetting. I remember playing this game as a kid and feeling a little uneasy about it. I mean, perhaps I'm giving it too much credit. I don't know if they were as apprehensive about this as maybe I thought they would be, but this feels like a bold statement for a launch title on the GameCube so early on in the game too. I'm probably overselling it, but it's just a thought. Anyway, as far as a boss goes, it's a standout early moment for sure. Chauncey pulls you into this warped crib nightmare and starts chucking bouncy balls and rocky horses at your head. It's a really memorable first boss. Not super hard or anything, I mean honestly nothing in this game really is, but it sticks with you. And yeah, I might be giving it too much credit, but I respect the move. I like the decision to make the 1-year-old the boss fight instead of the mom and dad. Also, I always thought he was screaming, "Apple, apple!" So normally, I'm not the biggest fan of boss rush type battles, but I think the way this one's tied into the story is pretty clever. There's an earlier moment in the game where Professor Egad calls you up to tell you about Vincent Van Gogh. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. Turns out Vinny here is the reason the mansion is crawling with all the regular NPC standard ghosts. Vincent is your cliché tortured artist type. He hasn't sold a single painting in over 3 decades, yet he refuses to stop creating. You know what? Good for him. He's the last major ghost you take on before the rooftop finale, and it feels fitting. After all, most of the regular ghosts you faced up to this point were his spooky little art projects. It adds a layer of story that's subtle, but neat. This guy didn't just die mad, he died misunderstood. But hey, at least he still has both his ears. The world of art wasn't ready for him, but Luigi sure is. My creations, my art. You ruined all my art. That is right. Miss the pass? Art is eternal. You say that only one of my creations is left, but this cannot be. That there are others. Zut alors. I don't think so. I'm sure this is probably a massive hot take, but I don't care. I love this boss fight. I think this is one of the most legitimately freaky parts of the game. It starts off on the balcony, it's super dark, and then you walk over and stumble upon a bunch of boos formed in a tight little ghost circle, and then they just turn around and start screwing with you. Boolossus is just an awesome escalation of what the boos have been doing all game, and now you got 15 of them united against you. What does it for me and why I have it ranked so high is a combination of the balcony setting, the way the battle kicks off, and the music. I love how it switches between that panicky, haunted soundtrack when they're all together trying to crush you, and how it switches to a slower tempo when you pop them on the unicorn and they all scatter. Yeah, I know, they can be a huge pain in the ass when it's down to the last few of them, but I can forgive it because I just think this part is where Luigi's Mansion really leans into more of a genuine horror game. Also, it's a satisfying fight. Check out your boo count once the fight is over. It all counted. Look, I know this dude's design isn't winning any originality contests. I mean, I probably could have drawn something like this in 2nd grade. But somehow, Bogmire ends up being probably the creepiest thing in the whole game. Yes, on paper he's as generic as it gets. I mean, he straight up looks like any cartoon ghost you can imagine. But it's the way he shows up, the way he rises out of the tombstone. It's why I adore this game so much, because it doesn't shy away from feeling like an actual horror game. And this is the boss that I think most exemplifies that. Bogmire feels like a real threat. He's the ghost that haunts the cemetery. The fight itself isn't anything too bonkers. I mean, you just blast him with his own shadow goop and call it a day. But everything around it is what sells it. The scale, the fog, that pounding soundtrack, it all comes together to feel like a grand nightmare, and to what I feel like is the strongest boss fight in the game. Hey look, Luigi's found himself a cute gamer girl. Too bad she's dead! I think this is one of the most iconic and memorable parts of the whole game. Once you've humped every instrument available in the room, together it'll play a nice little rendition of the Super Mario Bros. Theme song. And then you walk over to the piano and the whimsical melody shows up to play you a song from some of her favorite video games. Now she takes her music very seriously and likes to test you on your gamer knowledge. And her reaction to you guessing wrong is probably my favorite thing ever. And then watch what happens when you say, like, I don't know. It just throws a fucking tantrum. God. And she just goes away, and then you gotta do it again. Worth it. And it's like it never happened. Luckily, Melody's pretty forgiving, and when you do guess right, which is really just like one of 2 songs on shuffle, she pulls you into this whole haunted symphony showdown. It's pretty badass. The room is dripping with charm and personality, there's a real elegance to her design, and the battle itself is cool. She's not the toughest, but she's classy and unforgettable. A ghost with style. Ah yes, the ghost with the absolute most. Madame Clairvoyant is my favorite ghost in Luigi's Mansion. I had to give her top spot because I think she has the most depth and character out of anyone. Madame Clairvoyant actually helps you out through a good chunk of the game. She engages in a ton of dialogue with you, giving cryptic insight into your brother's missing fate and slowly unraveling the mystery of the mansion piece by piece. There's 5 items that your brother Mario has left behind for you to find, and each item will give her a vision that'll help you figure out what the hell happened to your brother. She's one of the few ghosts that isn't entirely hostile. In fact, she wants to get captured once her role is done. I felt bad. Once she's done telling you all you need to know, she surrenders without a fight. She's the most fleshed out ghost character in the game, and it all comes to a surprisingly emotional ending when she gives herself up. Her soul finds peace, and she maintains her dignity. And for all of this, she earns my respect as the #1 portrait ghost in Luigi's Mansion. And that's all, jabronis. If you enjoyed this video, lick that Subway sandwich button, smush that like, and drop a comment with your favorite ghost in Luigi's Mansion. I'll catch you on the next one. Take it easy.